Well, the Doctor and Perry show up in a 19th century mining town, and there's a bunch of miners going nuts and attacking people and tearing stuff up, and what's going on? Well, it's very simple. Not only is the Master involved, but a new threat, the Rani. So this introduced another Time Lord villain, sort of an evil Romani, if you will. And it just goes to show that, oh, well, you could have had a Time Lady villain, but no, she wasn't good enough, so they turned the Master into a woman later on. Go figure, But anyway, here she is, and she's different from the Master in a way. I mean, she's a villain, to be sure, but she's just completely obsessed with her scientific exploration and whatnot, no matter what the cost is. And she experiments on people and doesn't care. They're just specimens, and that's it. And she has no compassion whatsoever. So that's her deal. The Master is snooping in on it, on her plot, and wants to use it for his own ends. He's once again coming to this plot that he's had before, where he tried to change time and stuff like that. And he said, hey, why would he do that? Because he's trying to speed up Earth's development so that it could be like the capital of his new empire to conquer the rest of the galaxy or whatever. And that's what he's hoping for. Well, at the same time, getting revenge on the Doctor, because each time, it seems like that's it for the Master. There's no way he's going to escape the mess he's put himself in, Last time he was burning up, but, well, I don't know. He found a trap door somewhere. So, and he looks fine, still wearing Themis's old clothes. So that's the deal. She's experimenting on these people, and apparently she's another exile from the Time Lords. They probably should have put her in prison or executed her, but they just say, you don't get to be in the Time Lord games. So she took over this planet and rules it. But she experiments on its populace, and apparently they've lost their ability to sleep, which she's got to fix that. Apparently it's causing problems. So she's harvesting brain fluid from people in order to do this, and it's causing all kinds of mental breakdowns for them and everything. Instead of shrinking people, when she takes down somebody, it leaves a big red dot on their neck or something. And so, thanks to the Master, who repeats the title of the series of the show, "The Mark of the Rani." It's like, okay, I know. Well, what are you gonna do? So they bicker back and forth, but the Master keeps sticking his nose in her business, and the Doctor is trying to undo it. So you have some fairly good little bits of adventure here for the Doctor. It's a rather simple take on all of this, but that's fine in and of itself. There's a few things where they sort of set up like it's going to be an action scene, but they just don't have the choreography and filming ability at the time, I guess, where the Doctor just leaps out of the way of something, but you don't quite see it. But on the other hand, they capture his TARDIS and throw it down a well, and that means that looked pretty conclusive on that, because it really looked deep. And at one point they capture the Doctor himself and are going to throw him down, but he escapes. And I kind of thought, maybe he'll figure out a way to get down there and just come back into that. But no, it's quite a steep fall. And how are they going to resolve that? Some guy goes and gets it for him. And this is one of these things, because I'm not opposed of short runs for Doctor Who episodes, and I think a lot of these streaming shows could learn a lot from that. But here, it looks like they really need at least a third episode or something, or try to make it 4 to kind of stretch this out so that you could have more elements into it to fill it out. But because the Master and Rani are screwing around, and then it all just falls apart. And then the Doctor's, yeah, I won, and they leave. And that's kind of how it went. Because you would have thought there'd be more traps and stuff. There's almost a trap, but it sort of works in that the Doctor is just not that stupid, and he doesn't fall for the Rani's trap of setting up these landmines in this forest, and he's going to walk into it. He was not going to blow him up. No, it was going to turn him into a tree. which I'm perfectly fine with, as silly as it sounded. It only got a little too silly because then Perry almost runs into the trap too, but then one other guy, he stepped on the mine and he turns into a tree. And so Perry's about to do the same thing, and then the branch swings around and holds her in place. And I'm like, so he's like that forever? Is this going to be these trees that can move their branches and stuff? Because a couple other guys, they fall for it too. The Doctor tries to warn them, but they don't listen. And so they're trees now. Hey, I know. They could connect this to that Jodie Whittaker episode. No, never mind. No point in doing that. None, really. So, that's about it. The Doctor, he does fall into another trap that she set, where he knew it was going to be one, but he almost gets himself and Perry killed with mustard gas. But hey, they got some masks laying around, so they're able to do okay. And then his key just opens up the Rani's TARDIS, and we get to see another TARDIS here, so that's always cool, in the interior and everything. But it's like, oh, well, maybe her TARDIS is a Type 40 as well. I don't think so. It's probably more superior to his. Of course, she has this, they make a big deal about it, that she can remote control her TARDIS, so she can call it to wherever she is, which you can imagine if the Doctor had something like that. All the well, we're going to see what he does in the next adventure, sort of. But if you had that, then you've created a situation where the Doctor can get out of anything. So all the traps you put him in is, well, just remote control the TARDIS and he gets out. So that's why you can never do that. But she has it. But so the way they do it is very, pretty smart on their part, where even the Master is impressed with this. So that neither the Doctor or the Master quite know how she achieved this. And so that they can't do it for their own TARDISes. But it ends up, our TARDIS ends up being a trap as the Doctor removes some element from the control panel, and it doesn't occur to them. Of course, I don't think they ever knew he was in there, so it kind of makes sense that they walk right into that. As the mine's collapsing and the Master and the Rani get in there, and she cranks up the TARDIS, and it's just having some trouble. It's like, what the hell? But finally it dematerializes, but then it's going super fast or something, so the momentum and the gravity is shoving them up against the wall. Well, she's got all these embryos of dinosaurs in these jars. I just assumed they were dead. But I guess because of the time stream or whatever, so the baby dinosaur falls on the floor and starts to grow. It's going to be a T-Rex in the control room. So, oh man, how are they going to get out of this one? They're going to end up becoming dinosaur poo. But somehow, some way, they'll figure it out, because they do show up again, and so do the Master and the Rani. The Big Finish did some stories with the Rani. They got a new actress to play it, because sadly Kate O'Mara has since passed away. But for whatever reason, well, I think we know, they didn't bother to pursue the character further in the new Who show. So anyway, we'll see her again, but yeah, I guess it's just Big Finish, and that's it for the character anymore. So, I think it was hampered by its limits on time, I guess, for the amount of episodes they could do, and that was about it, And we did get to see the Doctor put on a better coat, even though it was pretty ragged out and nasty. Still better than that clown coat he's wearing. But it was an okay episode. The concepts and stuff, but it's one of those where the Doctor, and that there's tons of those where he just happens to stumble in onto a plot and whatnot. But then again, I suppose you can always argue that perhaps the TARDIS, with a mind of its own, just sniffs out danger, and the Doctor goes there. And certainly there's the episode where they flat out admitted that somehow the Time Lords manipulated him into it, that type of thing. So, but anyway, it's a good little introduction of this new character, and all of that. So, the Mark of the Rani, the red spot, was a fairly decent episode. Just cut a little too short, I think, and given to too much silliness here and there, but not too bad.